The best attack strategy at Tunnel 16 Explained. The Warden Walk Fireball and Rocket Loon attack strategy is what we'll be covering. While this attack can be overpowered, it can also be somewhat tricky, mainly due to the amount of multitasking involved. However, the goal of this video is to show you how you can fully master the attack strategy and overcome its weaknesses. Here is the general army composition we'll be using, and also I'm going to leave a copy link for this in the description below. Now here is the heroes equipment we'll be using as well. First thing I want to do is figure out where I want the fireball, so I'm going to come up here to the top side with our warden, deploy him, and then Rocket Loon to test for any traps, and then all 5 healers. And I'm going to let him work through some of these defenses here to begin with, and I'm also going to use some of our Rocket Loons just to help pick off some of these side defenses to help speed up the process and let our warden get his fireball off and potentially save some spells later on. And my goal for the fireball is going to be to target that eagle artillery, so I'm just going to let our warden work through some of these remaining defenses to help expose the eagle, and then I'm going to invis this Inferno Tower along with this Tesla so that the nearest defense is the Eagle Artillery. So I'm going to pop his ability and then drop the 2 Quake Spells on that. And I kind of misplaced those Quake Spells. I think I probably could have got that Expo. Looks like the Warden will go to the right flank, and so that's where we're going to come from the left flank with our Sui. And we're going to deploy the Queen and not too close to the Warden because that'll pull him over, and that's not our goal for this attack. So I'm going to deploy the Ice Golem out in front of her, then the King out in front of her to help start funneling in this flank, and the Siege Barracks further to the left of all of them to start funneling even more. My goal for the Sui is to basically go into the core with our King and our Queen. I'm just going to use these Rocket Loons just to help pick off these side defenses, about 2 per structure, just to help with the funneling and taking damage off heroes, just so the heroes can focus on the higher value core defenses more so. And I'm just going to use our Rage Spell to help heal up these healers, just to help our Queen get this monolith. And as you see, I jump into the core for our King, which was not really smart because he's not even going to go in there, and I should really be prioritizing our Queen, but it looks like Queen was able to beat a wall, and this time it was a good wall to beat. And I'm just going to use any spells I have left to assist her to take out that Town Hall, and it looks like she's able to take it out. So now I'm going to come in with our RC from the bottom flank, instantly pop her ability so that she can pick off these defenses from a distance and not take any damage. And it looks like a Warden was also able to survive all the way to the end, and as we were focusing on our Sui, looks like he was also able to take out that other scatter shot, which is really nice. And I'm just going to make sure I have any cleanup troops deployed just to help speed this up. First thing, like usual, is to figure out where I want the fireball, so I'm going to come up here to the top side, deploy our Warden, Rocket Loon to test for traps, and then the 5 healers. And like usual, you can use these Rocket Loons like for taking out the outer defenses, about 2 per structure to help out your Sui, or like in this case, I'm just going to use them to pick off some of these defenses to begin with so that it'll take some damage off a Warden and allow him to get his fireball off sooner. And my goal for fireball is going to be to target that monolith, so I'm just going to make sure I can invis the 2 side buildings here, and then that'll allow our fireball to go to the nearest defense, which was the monolith, and we're going to drop both our quakes onto that, and that would have been enough to take out the Eagle Artillery, but because my fireball is not high enough level, it wasn't. So I'm going to come up here to the left side, deploy our Queen so that she's angled in line with that Eagle, and then I'm going to pop her ability, and with the help of that giant arrow, that's going to be enough to finish that off. Now, since this attack relies so much on our heroes, I'm also going to keep in mind to use a couple of our Rocket Loons just to go out in front of our Queen just to test for any seeking landmines, because I want to get as much as I can out of that healer puppet, but since so much rides on our heroes, it can't hurt. Deploy the Ice Golem out in front of her as well, and I'm going to come down to the bottom left flank, deploy a couple Rocket Loons just to pick off these point defenses here, then deploy the Siege Barracks just to start funneling off that flank, and then we'll come up here to deploy our King to start funneling off this flank more, and hopefully go into the core with our Queen. And I'm also going to jump into the remaining walls left to get into the core with our Queen and our King, and hopefully they can take out the Town Hall as well as any other value. And I'm just going to watch them, and we got this enemy CC, so I'm going to poison that, and I also have to invis our Queen too because she's targeted by this single target Inferno. Just going to pop the King's ability, help him power through this core here and potentially the Town Hall, and going to drop an invis spell on our Grand Warden, but it was too late.
Well, duh.
I was too caught up in the Sui that I forgot about our Grand Warden, and so he died.
Of course he did.
Attack was really looking good until that happened, so I'm gonna pick off where he left off with our RC, instantly pop her ability so that she can take out these buildings from a distance, take no damage, and I'm gonna use any of these remaining Rocket Loons I have left, about 2 per structure, to pick off these outer side point defenses to allow our heroes to work on the higher value core defenses. And I'm also gonna make sure clean up with all these minions on these trash buildings, and it looks like this is attack should be a 3-star, but it would have been much easier 3-star if I had not let the Warden die. Okay, first thing I want to figure out where I want my fireball, so I'm gonna come up here to the right side with our warden, but like him, and a Rocket Loon to test for any secret air mines and any air traps like that. And I'm just gonna instantly take out this mortar up here with 2 of our Rocket Loons, and that'll allow us to deploy our flame flinger. And the goal with the flame flinger is going to be to take out that apartment and get as much value as possible. So I'm gonna come back down here to the bottom side with our warden, make sure he's doing okay. Then I'm gonna use 2 Rocket Loons on these 2 side cannons, and that is just to help clear those out so they don't interfere with our fireball later on. So I'm just gonna let the warden work through some of his defenses by himself, make sure he's not going to ability too soon. But you always want to make sure keep your warden alive, because if he goes down, there goes basically half your army. So I'm gonna invis both the eagle and these other buildings here, and that'll allow our fireball to target that monolith in the backside, and then drop the quake onto that, and that just leaves about 1 HP left on this eagle artillery basically. But I'm just gonna make sure he works through these defenses and doesn't die in the process. But as you see, I made a mistake. I could have potentially got the enemy clan castle down if I had placed those quakes a little bit more centered, which was kind of my mistake. And if I had done that, I would have been able to take out the enemy CC without ever having to deal with it, without it ever coming out of this clan castle. Our warden is going over to the right side, so I'm going to come down to the left side with our queen, deploy her, then the ice golem, and then the king out in front of that to start funneling into this scatter shot in a multi-target inferno compartment. The ultimate goal for them is going to be to work their way towards the town hall, and I got these 2 wall breakers just to get into the base, as well as the jump spell in order to do that. And now I have these Rocket Loons, just, you know, you can basically just pick off the outer defenses just to help out heroes, and probably funnel and jump spell so our king can have access into this town hall compartment, and also our queen as well if she ever gets here. But it looks like the base is already going to be gone, so it's not even necessary. I'm going to deploy our RC, just pop her building instantly so she can take all these defenses out with her rocket spear and not even come in contact. And it looks like we're going to have a few extra spells. This base was pretty good for this tech strategy.